Chairperson, the Secretary General, and our Treasurer General, members of the Central Command Team, members of the Provincial Command Team, members of the EFF and fellow Africans. We are here to celebrate our day. We should not call it Africa Day as if it's Africa Day something somewhere which does not involve us. It is our day. We are today celebrating the legacy of Nkrumah. That's what people do when you do good things. Even when you die, they will still remember you and your work many years after. We are here because Kwame Nkrumah said it was important for Africans to unite. The 1963 was but just an event following many attempts by generations before Nkrumah, who said it is important for Africans to come together. We were not divided because we chose to divide ourselves. We were divided because of colonialism. Because colonialism thrives out of the division of African people. If you are united, colonialists will never survive in this beautiful continent. It is them who sat somewhere and decided to divide Africa. And they divided Africa not because they loved the beauty of Africa. They never loved our mountains. They never loved our trees. They never loved our beautiful beach. They never loved the people of Africa. They divided us because of the resources of Africa. That's why before colonialism, it was business companies that came here before. It is those companies that discovered the beauty of Africa in terms of resources. And following those companies, then the colonizers decided to divide the resources amongst themselves. They were not dividing the continent. They were dividing the resources. They were saying, you will get the resources of Southern Africa. You will get the resources of Eastern Africa. You will get the resources of Northern Africa. That's how they divided us, not because they loved the beauty of Africa. They loved our resources. And those resources were discovered by companies. So let me tell you, I am not scared of colonizers. I am scared of capitalism, because it is capitalism that attracted colonizers to come and divide Africa over the resources discovered by capitalism in Africa. I'm not threatened by politicians who divided Africa. I'm threatened by capitalism, because those who followed the companies. When you hear the word multinational companies, you must know a danger to African society. That's what they are. They discover resources, they go call upon their governments to come and impose on Africa. They are puppets and their laws, so that they make it easy for those companies to steal more resources without Africans rising in defense of their resources. Our problem, more than anything, is capitalism. The defeat of capitalism will be a defeat of colonialism and imperialism. We are divided because people want the beautiful riches of Africa. So we must unite as Africans. We must follow in the footsteps of those who came before us. We must follow in Nkrumah's footsteps. we must say those who want to divide Africa, they should not do it in our name. None of us here in South Africa can claim not to be an African. All of you came to settle here, coming up from the north, and that's where you ended up. Therefore, you must never claim to be something else other than African. The rejection of other Africans is a self-rejection, it's a self-hatred, it's because you don't know who you are. If you know who you are, you will never reject people from DRC, you will never reject people from Nigeria, you will never reject people from Ghana, you will never reject people from Zimbabwe, because if you trace your history, you are actually a Zimbabwean. If you trace your history, you are actually Nigerian. That's what makes us Africans. That's the beauty of Africa. We share history, we share culture, and all of that the imperialists have destroyed. They have destroyed that knowledge, because they know that if you know that history, they know that if you know that you share a culture, you are going to embrace each other, therefore you are going to be united, and a united Africa is a threat to imperialism, is a threat to colonialism, is a threat to capitalism. That's why they destroyed African philosophy, that's why they destroyed African history, that's why they destroyed African knowledge, because with that knowledge we will know that we are one thing. That's why the decolonized education is very important, because through decolonized education we will know that we are the founders of knowledge, and therefore there is nothing better about Europe or America or Asia. Everything else started here. Civilization started here. They came to copy it from us and then destroyed our knowledge so that they can claim that they are the ones who discovered civilization. If you love Africa and its people, you will make it your mission to go and research and educate yourself about the history of this continent. Once you know the history and the contribution of this continent in the world literature, then you will love this continent. You will know that the rest of other continents were born out of this continent called Africa. So we must from today continue to celebrate those who embrace fellow Africans. We must isolate those who call people Makwerekwere. We must isolate those who are perpetuating the division of African continent, because without the unity of Africa, we will never defeat the devil called capitalism. Why do you love white people so much, and you hate your own African brothers? When you chase foreigners, you never chase white people. When you chase foreigners, you never chase Indians or Chinese. You always go for Africans, because you suffer from self-hate. It's because you don't love yourself. It's because you think everything black is cheap. It's because you think everything African must be killed. You are a puppet of white supremacy. You are a slave of white masters who have planted a seed of self-hate amongst black people. We must love ourselves. We must protect each other. These people who are here in South Africa from DRC, they didn't come here because of their own choice. They've got problems at home. In the same way we were in their countries when we had problems here in South Africa. We must return the favor. In any way, it's an African culture. Moto ke moto ka batho. So if you do not embrace Ubuntu, then you are not an African. There is no African who chase away visitors, including uninvited visitors. We welcome them, we cook food for them, even when we don't have enough. It is in our culture to embrace visitors, because that's what makes us good people. That's why we welcome white people. That's why we welcome them, all of them. Even when we know this is not their home. They too, this is not their home. They know that. But we welcome them. But since they are visitors and uninvited visitors, they must behave like one and not take over our continent. It is important that we continue to remind them that they came here uninvited, but we welcomed them and will make their stay the most enjoyable stay as long as they respect Africans, as long as they don't see Africans as their workers, as long as they don't see Africans as subhuman, as long as they don't see Africans as things to be disregarded when it comes to the economy. They must see Africans as equal partners, if not the majority shareholders of African economy, because this economy of Africa belongs to the people of Africa. We welcome foreign investment. We welcome multinationals, but they must come through our own terms. Today, when we say there is unemployment in South Africa and the whole of Africa is black Africans, how can we say our country is rich with mineral resources, yet the people, the indigenous people of this continent, are the poorest of the poor? We must reclaim our mineral resources. We must reclaim our natural resources. We must reclaim our land, our mountains, our oceans. Everything that comes with the land of Africa belongs to us. We must reclaim it, but we will never get it for as long as we are not united. Nkrumah saw this thing long before. He said it was easy to fight for political power. Once they discovered that there is still more power to fight for, be it social and economic power, then they realized that the unity of African people is more important than it was posed before liberation. Now we are fighting a difficult struggle. They've let go of political power. They are refusing to let go of economic power, because that is what they are here for. They are here for economic power. So the unity of Africans will usher in economic power. Zimbabwe alone, it will never succeed with the land struggle. Leave Mugabe. Of course Mugabe must go. Of course we don't want leaders who overstay their welcome. But Mugabe is 100% right when it comes to land. But when he is alone, that land struggle will not succeed. That's why South Africa must join and take the land. Mozambique must join and take the land. Zambia must join and take the land. Namibia must join and take the land. Then in that way, all of us take our land. They will have nowhere to go. Then we will help them under our dictatorship. The dictatorship of the proletariat. The dictatorship of the working class. Because that's where we want them. But if Zimbabwe takes the land, and other countries next to Zimbabwe do not take the land, then the land struggle will not succeed. Because they will simply leave Zimbabwe to South Africa like they did, and they irritate us here, using the laws of South Africa to undermine the achievement of African revolution in Zimbabwe. No, we want them when they run away from Zimbabwe to find us here taking the land. When they go to Mozambique, they must find the Mozambican taking the land. Then they must know they've got nowhere to go. They must sit down and negotiate their stay in our beautiful land. What should unite the people of Africa is the land question. What should unite the people of Africa is an economic question. What should unite the people of Africa is a social question. The hatred of each other will just perpetuate the division of Africa. And continuing the division of Africa, then you are continuing the poverty of Africa. We are poor because we are not united. We are poor because we have no regard for each other. Even few Africans who have survived and succeeded, when they treat a fellow African, they don't treat a fellow African with respect. When you are a successful African, treat other Africans with respect. Advocate Mpofu, when you go to a black lawyer, you must get a proper and quality services. He must not give you a cheap service because in his mind, Africans don't mind cheap things. When we go to doctors, when we are treated by nurses, when we go into a shop owned by African as fellow Africans, we must be treated with respect. We must provide each other quality service. It starts with us. Because some successful Africans have got no regard for fellow Africans. When they go to Africans, they give them cheap service. Should I give you an example of an African who doesn't respect a fellow African? There is a guy called African National Congress. He has got no regard for Africans. He doesn't give quality services to Africans. When he goes to white suburbs, he gives them quality services. When he comes to black communities, he gives them lousy, cheap services. That is the problem with some of the successful Africans. Please don't be like ANC. When you see a black person, provide quality service because they too deserve quality service. When we hire a stage and sound system, it must be quality when it comes from a black person to black people. Not some sound system which is going to switch off when you are speaking. When you check who's the owner, is a black person. Why are you doing that? The client is a black person. Respect each other before you ask whites and Europeans to respect you. You must respect yourself. You must take yourself serious. Provide quality services to each other. Then the white minority will know that these ones, you can't disrespect them. How do you expect Europeans to respect you when you call your fellow African brother and sister a kwere kwere? And when you look at a white person, you call him an investor. Our brothers from Somalia who are having spaza shops in the townships, they are being attacked all the time. But Pick n Pay, ShopRite, Pep Store, all the shops owned by white people are not being attacked in the townships. They call them investors. They say, no, these ones are taking our jobs. There is no Somalian who closed down South African spaza shops. That South African spaza shops was closed down by introduction of Pick n Pay in the townships, by ShopRite in the townships. Those are the things you must do when you see Pick n Pay coming into Soweto, when you see Pick n Pay coming into Alexandra. The owners of spaza shops must come together and march to Pick n Pay and say to Pick n Pay, you are only going to open here if you give us 40% shares. Otherwise, there will not be Pick n Pay here. Hey, Somalians are taking our spaza shops. Your spaza shop collapsed before the arrival of Somalians. Actually, Somalians are helping you because now they are renting your empty spaza shop. Stop simplifying a complicated economic matter. A white man once came to me and he thought he was making a joke, and I was very angry after he spoke to me. He said to me, had we known that democracy is going to be so nice, would have given it to you in the 70s to avoid 1976. I said, what do you mean democracy is so nice? He said, we are making more money now, more than what we used to make under apartheid. He thought he was making a joke. And I realized this guy is right. These people now, they had one shop in Polokwane. There was one Pick n Pay next to Taxi Rank. That was the only Pick n Pay. Now they've got Pick n Pay in Venda. They've got Pick n Pay in Giyani. They've got Pick n Pay everywhere. They never had those during apartheid. The so-called democracy opened doors for white minority to become more rich, and you are fighting amongst yourself, fighting for useless things. You're killing fellow African brothers. You say they took your jobs. What jobs are there? Because these people are not working for your government. These people are not working for any of the big companies in South Africa. They are selling Makip here in Joburg Park. Yet you go around saying they took your jobs. They know poverty. And they know that every single cent counts. So if you take yourself too serious to sell Makip, someone has seen a vacuum because nature does not allow a vacuum, and that person has occupied that space, is selling Makip. You go around, they took our jobs. Go and sell Makip if you want to sell Makip. They will never stop you from selling Makip. Stop fighting for small things and saying they took our jobs, referring to Makip. The person who took your job is a white man who brought a big mall. Every village I go to now, when we campaign, everywhere I enter, the villagers are saying to me, Malema, we need a mall. And I thought, they think malls are being sold somewhere. I must go and buy it and come and put it here. They don't know that they can come together and open a mall in the same way they came together during apartheid. They contributed money and built schools. The schools in the villages were built by our people with their own money. Why are they not coming together, put money together, build a mall? When they say to me, Malema, we want a mall, they mean go and call a white man to come and do a mall.
Julius Malema speaking at the EFF's Africa Day celebrations. Let's take you back now to